Hi, IWF. We're here with Ranu Jung today, one of our science sisters, IWF science sisters. Ranu, tell us about your professional journey, where you were born, how you got to Miami, and then where you are now.
Yes, so I'm at science and engineering. Let me put that together. And first of all, thank you. I'm delighted to share this journey with all of my IWF sisters. So I was born in India, and I grew up there and went through high school and undergraduate in India in what is called as electronics and communication engineering. Everybody knows chips now. At that time, the that used to be there. So that's what I did for my undergraduate. But I always wanted to think about how could I link medicine and engineering together. And there's a field called biomedical engineering. And I found out that, oh, if you go to the United States, you might be able to study that and do things further. So rather than just sell X-ray machines or join a telecommunications company, I came to the United States and went to graduate school at Case Western Reserve in Cleveland, Ohio, and everybody had heard of Cleveland Clinic. So, you kind of start to put those together and you say, oh yeah, this would be a great place. And it was a great place. And so that's where I did my doctoral work. And then after that, I ended up doing work with National Institutes of Health and getting into academia. And so became a faculty member. I've lived in different parts in Kentucky, the beautiful Lexington region with the thoroughbreds. It's gorgeous. And then I've lived in Arizona. I've lived in the DC area, and each of them, the Sonora. And then I ended up in Miami with at Florida International University as the chair of the department. I was also held the Coulter Endowment, Eminent Scholar Endowment there. Spent some time as interim dean, and then about 2 years ago, I got this call from a search firm saying, "Hey, there is something new happening in Northwest Arkansas," and it was too appealing and an opportunity to build something completely new. So I've moved to Northwest Arkansas at the University of Arkansas. I'm still linked to Miami. I'm a professor emeritus at Florida International University, and so much that I learned there and in the past I've been able to bring here. And I'll be happy to talk to you more about what's going on now.
Yes, please tell us what you're doing now. What is going on in Arkansas?
So so I think that I think you all are probably hearing more and more and more that entrepreneurship, economic development, all of that. It used to be that the federal government used to put a lot of money into that, but actually private industry is doing more and more investment into bringing new innovations out to market and out for impact. So now start thinking about government, industry, academic world, so the public sector all coming together, but also tying in philanthropy. So the next future is really a convergence of all these sectors in creating the entrepreneurial ecosystem and innovation that is leading our nation forward and has kept our nation ahead of the game. We have lots and lots of competition from global competition, but that's what's keeping us forward. So now dial back and think about our Arkansas. A few years ago when we held I think the Cornerstone, the conference in Miami, we gave an award to Alice Walton. And Alice Walton, as many of you may know, we recognized her for the art and this beautiful crystal bridges, our art museum that is there in this region. But this whole region is also thinking about how could we bring about a place that has art, music, food, and the next future of scientific and engineering technologies moving forward, all coming together to create a region in the heartland of the United States. We are doing really well on our coast. We have lots of gaps in the middle of our country. How can we create that nexus to move things forward? So as part of that, the Walton Family Charitable Support Foundation gave about $200 million to the University of Arkansas and said, how about setting up a research institute, but it should be a different kind of research institute that is supporting economic development, that supports private sector, that is about to bring about needs that are there, addressing those and pulling that together. So it's a bigger story of the whole region. So I got tapped through a national search to come in and establish this institute. So it's like a once in a lifetime opportunity. I said, okay, here we come. So that's how I am here.
And now you're in Arkansas. What is the title of your position?
I'm the associate vice chancellor
Okay.
at the, but I'm also the executive director for the institute. Is the Institute for Integrative and Innovative Research, but we call it IQBDAR. The 3 is, superscripted. You can never write it easily, but it is. We've got a little cube in our logo, so IQBDAR. So because it's an institute that's not in a college or a department, it's been given the mission to bring about transformational change. I mean, that's in the gift requirement. How are you going to bring about transformational change, not just in the university, but in the region, and keeping in mind this future. So if you tie all that, we're kind of ahead of the curve. National Academies just put out some information out saying, okay, we really need to bring convergence together. So that's how the institute is actually formed, and that's the vision with which we've already put it in place. So that's what we're doing, bringing these different sectors together. And that is everything from, think of a big startup with a really good seed round of money to set it up. So fast, agile, adaptable, looking at what we call wicked problems, really big problems that individual groups, individual faculty, individual researchers, for that matter, small companies cannot do themselves. So taking on huge problems. So that's kind of what we're setting up, everything from scratch, building, people being hired, administrative structures being put in. It's kind of sometimes mind-boggling, but I was like, okay, I have to pinch myself. I'm in this.
It sounds exciting. Have you already decided on some big problems to solve?
To solve, well, what we did is we said, okay, we're going to look at what are the needs, start from the center, and that whatever the needs are must be scalable to be globally at some point, right? So we put this big integrative health as our big wicked problem, and we talk about integrative health, how you behave, whether you sleep, all of those comes in for the young or the older. Do you have access to good food? Do you have access to good health? Do you have technologies for that? Are you getting those deployed to actually lead to all of the peoples? So we're saying bring about a convergence of the food sector, the health sector, and both of the sectors need safety and security of both data and devices. So you need, it's a very heavily data-driven, those both sectors are very heavily data-driven, and actually they are national security driven, because food security and health security are national security issues. So if you think about that and you say, how are we going to converge these to get well health for our people? And I don't even have to say to anybody, we all know the epidemic of chronic diseases, of diabetes, obesity, all the related aspects with it, which then go cardiac diseases. And in particular, it is really sad in a way, but we have real issues with maternal health. And so if you think about the bigger picture of why do we have maternal health problems, we are living in a country that shouldn't, medical desert, and some of the highest, most impacted people are women and children, So if you look at the overall integrative health thing, what can we do with more specifically for women for maternal health? So that's what we've put as a big umbrella. It's a very broad and big umbrella, but underneath that, we're saying if we can change, even make a little bit of a difference, change the dial a little bit, we will have made impact on many, many lives. But solutions have to be deployed. So they're not like in the lab kind of thing, right? So you start backwards. You start with what is the impact you want? And if you want that impact, what are the barriers? Is it policies? Is it economics? Is it a financial or technical solution you need? Is it the community engagement that is missing? So you kind of dial backwards from there and say, all right, here are the gaps that need to be filled. What are the sectors that all need to come together? You need the business partners, you need the government partners, you need the industry partners. What is the role of philanthropy in this? So that's how we are looking at things and saying, how do we take this on?
Amazing. Well, I'm excited for you, and I'm excited to hear about the solutions that you come up with. because obviously food insecurity, health, I think those are our major country concerns. And I know you've had, before doing this exciting project, you've had a lot of career success over the years. Tell us, is there a significant professional achievement that you're proud of before starting this amazing initiative?
Yeah, so I think that, and it is still continuing, and it started in Florida, and you might have heard about, I'm wearing my engineering and science as a young girl who saw magazines that said, oh, you can have technologies to hear. Think about the cochlear implant stuff for people who are deaf, right? Or who are hearing loss. Well, so part of this is almost a 2-decade journey of saying, what if you could get people who have lost a limb the ability to feel something? So think about the prostheses that are not so advanced in many ways, but they're advancing. What if they could touch and feel things and have this missing thing come back to them? So almost a 2-decade journey of saying, well, we're going to try to restore the sense of touch and feeling with a neurostimulation system that is fully implanted. So think about pacemakers for the heart, or for that matter, now we have, deep brain stimulation things for people with Parkinson's, or there are gastric pacemakers. So can we develop that technology, but not just develop the technology, but can we actually deploy it? And so it's a difficult story. Again, it needs multiple sectors to come together. And so I'm so happy, and I think it's still ongoing. We did our first implant while I was still in Florida. And that, he had, Jason Little had this implant, took it home, and they basically could use the system and feel things and touch things, and as you do. After coming to Arkansas now, we have already done 4 implants. We have opened a second site at the Walter Reed National Military Medical Center. So it's still an investigational device, but we are learning so much about the human experience. And it's kind of like, even just yesterday, I was having a discussion with somebody else that in a way, engineering is restoring and making real for somebody what they have lost. And that person is part of our team. It's not like, if you stimulate somebody and you feel something, they need to tell you. Did they feel it? Did they not feel it, right? It's not like we can just see and measure something. It's their percept. So you are creating lost percept back for a person. So it's kind of exciting in that manner. And then, of course, the hope is that having that means that if you hold a cup, you're not going to crush it. You don't have to be watching it. And so there's the real practical part of it. But what fascinates me is this whole percept thing. And then also the merger of saying what seems like futuristic technology, that we actually have that inside people. They're at home with it, and they're feeling things and doing things. One of the guys we did here is a much older gentleman, and his wife said it's a miracle. I know it's not a real miracle, but in a way it sounds like a miracle, that you have all of a sudden somebody who 70 years did not have the sense of touch. Now that is restored to them, even though it is still an investigational device, even though it's a short time thing. And he's a pastor, so he said, "Oh, my congregation says I'm a bionic pastor." So
Amazing. Well, that's one of the best answers I've ever gotten to that question. So thank you for that. And it seems like you're on the forefront of so many things. What are you learning about now?
Well, I think the biggest thing I'm learning about is actually how do you get people to all come together in a joint mission how do you get, for me, that learning has been all along was, first it was bringing people around this scientific and technical thing as chair and dean. But now looking at this, and as the institute is being put forth, right, what brings large groups of people together from what we might consider as separate things. I work in industry, you work in academia, you work in government. How do you get people to join together in a common mission? What drives people? That is the most exciting part to me, in a way, with all the things you have to do. But in the back of it, I think what I've enjoyed most is to kind of say, okay, this is how we get together. This is what works. This is what doesn't work. That, I don't know, it's a maybe a different kind of answer than what you were thinking, but to me, that's been, in a way, with all its frustrations, it's also the most amazing part that you can sell a vision, a mission, and people can go after it and go together for it, thinking about a future that we don't even know if we can really create, but we believe in that faith in being able to do something. I think that's the most amazing part to me, you know.
Sounds like leadership to me, navigating leadership, which I'm sure you're amazing at. Tell me, what's the best advice you ever received, and what advice are you giving young people now if it's different?
I think the best advice, in a way, was given to me was nothing is indispensable. Like, you know, and things change. And so I'll give you and give you what happened as a child to me. And as you can imagine, you're doing well and you do things and you're a teenager and you think, oh yeah, I can do everything. So I'm the most important person. And my dad, who's in doing management stuff on whatever, he said, he brought me and he says, bring this little bucket of water. And he said, okay, fill the water. I fill the water. And he says, now stick your hand inside it. Stuck the hand inside. He says, now pull the hand out. Pull the hand. He says, how big is that hole? So nothing. It's filled. So be humble. Be humble with all your success and be humble with what you can or cannot achieve. And just know that. And I think that allows you to move forward with whatever success you may have or what you may not have. That will fill, that'll get created, but you can keep going. That to me, in a way, that's what it is. So, and change, just be ready for change. It doesn't matter. It will, good
Yeah.
or bad, those things are not frozen. So whatever is like the worst thing today, 15 minutes later, it's not going to be the first thing anymore. No.
Right. The one thing constant in the world is change,
Yes,
right?
change. Yes.
And also that things stay the same, I guess. That's both the things at the same time. And I have some fun questions to ask you. What is the fact about you we could not find on the internet?
That as a teenager, I got a prize from Indira Gandhi, the Prime Minister of India, for a painting.
You're a
Yeah.
painter too.
So when I used to. So I don't think you'll find that.
Oh, that's a great one. What book, podcast, or television show are you recommending now?
I'm not recommending any, but I'll tell you one that my own son said, "Yo, mom, you gotta be looking, you gotta be tuning in every now and then to Ted Lasso."
I do like
So,
Ted Lasso.
but
What, go
soccer.
ahead.
I think the thing that has caught me is my own son played soccer as a child, and now I think about of all the things that a team sport does teach you, and how things come together. So it kind of brings that many things back in when watching Ted Lasso. So
Is there a book that you've gifted?
I have gifted a few different books, but one of them is an earlier book called Mindset.
Okay.
So that's it's a that's it's setting things up. It's not a new book, but I give that out to people to you know to especially students coming in or younger people coming in, look at that and
Mhm.
see that just having the right mindset for things that helps you move.
What's the most exciting or memorable adventure you've had outside of your career?
A trip to a Tortuguera National Park in Chile, in Costa Rica,
Oh,
where I spent time on this biology station, kind of like students. It was actually my 25th wedding anniversary. They didn't know we were professors. We were tagging turtles as they came in out of the ocean doing night patrols.
oh,
It was
nice.
it was fascinating, fun thing to do, and a very, very different thing to do.
Okay, last question that we end every podcast with. If you were in charge of the uh, playlist, what song would play next?
Oh, wow. I don't know if I could say that answer at all. Eat Columbine, or Hallelujah.
Hallelujah. That's a great song.
Yeah.
Well, thank you so much for being here. I will make sure that everybody knows that you are in Arkansas now. And if they go to see Crystal Bridges or any other reason for being in North Arkansas, they reach out to you. And we hope to see you here in Florida again over the
Yes.
next year.
Yeah, please welcome, and I'll be happy to set up things here. So
Thank you so much.
thanks, man.